In the 1960s, the American oil company Chevron, operating under the Texaco brand, entered into a contract with Ecuador's government to extract oil from the basin of the Amazon rainforest. Over the course of the next 26 years, Chevron extracted billions of gallons of crude oil that generated huge revenues for the company. In the process, this large oil company committed one of the worst acts of environmental abuse in history. On the west coast of South America, straddling the equator from which it derives its name, lies the country of Ecuador. Slightly smaller than the state of Nevada, it is home to both the Galapagos Islands and the rainforests of the Amazon. Ecuador is also home to a number of native indigenous groups, including the Azucar, Secoya, and Cofan nationalities. These people live off the land. They drink water from the rivers and use them for fishing, bathing, and cooking. And now, thanks to Chevron, they are sick and dying for doing so. Here is what Chevron did in the Ecuadorian Amazon, one of the most fragile and biodiverse ecosystems in the world that is home to 5 indigenous groups. Chevron chose not to re-inject toxic produced water into the ground. Instead, the company installed pipes to drain the toxic wastewater into rivers and streams. And Chevron chose not to line its waste pits the way it had done in the United States, allowing toxins to seep into the soils and contaminate groundwater often relied on by local inhabitants for their drinking water. And rather than properly dispose of the toxic sludge in the unlined pits, Chevron chose to leave it there. The company installed pipes to transport the sludge and contaminated rainwater into nearby streams. Rather than capture the toxic natural gas during extraction, Chevron burned off the gases, a process known as flaring, producing huge flames and releasing dioxins into the environment. All of this while the indigenous peoples of Ecuador continued to use rivers and streams for their drinking water, bathing, and fishing, the same rivers and streams into which Chevron dumped its toxic waste. In several independent health evaluations, including one conducted in the village of San Carlos, cancer rates were up to 30 times higher than normal, and the incidence of childhood leukemia was found to have reached alarming levels. This is the real human impact of exposure to oil contamination. The public health catastrophe resulting from Chevron's environmental destruction easily could have been avoided if Chevron had lined the pits and re-injected toxic wastewater as required by the law and industry standards. Why then did Chevron choose to use substandard operational practices in the delicate rainforest environment of Ecuador? Because what Texaco and Chevron have always cared about most in Ecuador is protecting their profits, even at the expense of the indigenous groups and delicate ecosystem. And they thought they would never get caught. In 1993, inhabitants of dozens of communities, collectively known as Los Afectados, or the Affected Ones, filed a lawsuit to force Chevron to take responsibility for its disaster. Shortly after the lawsuit was filed, Chevron struck a deal with Ecuador's government to spend $40 million to cosmetically treat a small fraction of its 916 waste pits by covering them with dirt, without removing the toxins which to this day continue to contaminate soils and groundwater. All the while, Chevron made promises to Ecuador's government and its people that its so-called remediation was effective. But Chevron's promises simply collapse in the face of the evidence. Chevron exposed the people of Ecuador to contamination far beyond acceptable levels under either U.S. or Ecuadorian law. After years of Chevron's delay tactics and obstruction, an Ecuadorian court in 2011 found Chevron liable and ordered it pay $18 billion for a cleanup and to compensate the affected rainforest communities. But Chevron has stripped its assets from Ecuador and has announced that it will not pay the judgment. It is doing everything in its power to avoid responsibility. So now that Chevron broke the rainforest in Ecuador, what is it going to do to fix it? To this day, Chevron continues to claim it bears no responsibility for the destruction and deaths its operational practices have caused. Numerous soil samples taken from Chevron's well sites still show they contain high levels of cancer-causing toxins. Meanwhile, given that Chevron is acting like a fugitive from justice, the people of Ecuador's Amazon are being forced to continue their fight in countries where Chevron's assets can be lawfully seized and used to pay for a cleanup, safe drinking water, and medical care. For more information about how you can help, go to www.chevrontoxico.com.